12 years.
2.5 now.
It's about 6 months now.
A year and a half.
4 years, 9 months, 11 days and 2 hours.
More than 10 years.
4.
18 years.
2 years and a half.
16 and a half.
Around 7.5.
25.
14.
13.
6 months.
3 months.
Almost 5.
11 years.
15 years.
8 months.
4 years.
4 years and a half.
1 year.
More than 3 years.
Almost 2 years.
6 years.
25 years.
Work. Friendship.
Open.
Everything.
A lot.
Home.
Connection.
Hashtag one team.
Family.
Challenge.
Family.
Home.
Green.
Teamwork.
The colleagues.
A second life.
Well, the absolute start of Kappa Data was in 1998, 25 years ago, when I started this company together with Kurt, at that time our technical manager.
Before Kappa, I was doing sales, so I turned into being responsible for the technical services on my own. Next, had a little team for doing IT. I did accountancy due to some occurrence, opportunity, whatever, on need of the company. I did pre-sales. And I'm like, what am I doing today? Good question.
And after 6 months, we could start to recruit. And then a very interesting story pops up. We started recruiting for a sales assistant. And then a sports car, a red sports car, jumped on our parking, and that was Katrien.
The brand of the car was a Volkswagen Corrado. It wasn't mine, it was from my boyfriend then. I had a first meeting with Patrick. It was a good meeting. And the moment that they hired me, I got a job with Kurt, together in a desk with Kurt. No, not a desk, but a room with Kurt. We were with the 3 of us. We started with a very tiny office. We only had 2 rooms with desks and then 1 little kitchen and a toilet. Very important. Then we moved to a bigger part with a stock. Before, the warehouse was in the garage downstairs, so we always had to go downstairs to make the boxes. And then we moved to this building. First the old villa and now this beautiful office. And when we had a good day, we always stopped working a bit earlier, and then we went to the Hopduvel to get a drink. The 3 of us. It was always fun.
You should know that in 1998, suddenly all companies needed antivirus software, needed a firewall to protect themselves against hackers. And we could surf on that evolution. And that was a big milestone for us. And the milestone was so big that after recruiting Katrien, we needed someone in our warehouse. And then Didier suddenly popped up. Didier came from Siemens, was used to an enormous warehouse. And I remember his face when he saw our warehouse.
What I mostly remember is that it all went so fast, and you really had the chance to learn so much. I mean, I started as in the warehouse, but 9 months later I was doing technical support. I worked in the accountancy for a while. Went on to purchasing, so it was super diverse, and I got to learn so much. It was really mental, but in a good way.
In 2001, it was time to move. So we bought a big house, a villa, that used to be a doctor's practice. And it was big enough for 10, 15 people. So we thought this will be the building forever. We will never be too big for this villa. And that was also the moment when we decided to move away from me alone as sales guy, and to add a real sales guy. And then Bart Carton came in the picture.
But when I arrived for
my first interview with Patrick, I was surprised. It was not on this site where we are actual, but it was in the Voskeslaan in Ghent. I had a very good contact with Patrick because I was informed from the market that he was interested in me. And of course, when there is some interest, there's another way of speaking, and that you know that money is coming in. So it was very quickly arranged. So I started working over there, and 3 months later we moved into this building, the new site. Although at that time it was still a big house, a villa called a villa, with a very big garden, a garden in which we often play some football. And for me, it was also a place to take an extra nap, because on Thursday I had long football trainings or short nights. So during the noon hours, I took a little nap under the trees. I'm sure some old colleagues will remember that.
So with Kappa Data, we had the introduction of the euro. We had the millennium bug. Everybody was getting scared that everything would stop working. So there was a lot of attention on firmware updates and questions on will my network suffer from anything? Will it stop working, etc. Today, knowing how the IT is working was like a self-fulfilling prophecy to gain money out of everything. But yeah, well, were good times.
For the people with lots of experience, let's say the old guys in the room, they will remember that Wi-Fi in the early days was creating headaches. Wi-Fi was not stable, didn't work, and if it worked, it didn't work properly. So the market was definitely open to find a professional Wi-Fi solution. And we found it even in Europe when we signed a contract with a German company called Lancom. So we added antivirus software, we added firewalls, we added professional Wi-Fi systems. That means that the request for more technical services was higher. And that was the moment when we started recruiting some young technical guys, and one of them was Nick Leman.
Back in the day, I thought, I'm going to be here for 6 months. And 6 months later, a lot has changed. And, well, 18 years later, I'm still here. So it's definitely a company where you can grow and move to different functions. So I started out as help desk engineer, quickly went on the road to visit customers, help them with their problems, installations, and did that, I think, for about 9 years, where I then transitioned to a product management role, which has now been redefined again to a business development role. So it basically never stops.
Flexibility.
A team player.
Flexibility.
Colleagues.
Patience.
Be a social person.
Confidence.
Humor.
Ambition.
Being a human.
Ambitious.
Spontaneous.
How do you say in English? A hook-off?
Crazy.
Active.
Motivation.
Friendliness.
Team spirit. Perseverance.
When we recruit people, we don't look to certificates, or at least not in first sight. We look at people in general. We want them to fit in the organization. And that means that we also give people without the right certificates, or maybe the right certificates, chances to start. And one of the very nice examples is Francis.
I studied social work. I worked with homeless people, and after 10 years, I felt it was time to do something different. I saw the job for sales at Kappa Data, and I thought, well, I'm going to try it. The first thing I remember is that Kurt, one of the co-founders, he threw my resume in the garbage because he thought I was not good enough because I was a social worker. But someone didn't show up, so he gave me a chance. So Kappa Data is a company who like to give chance to people. So the only thing I knew about IT was how to start up a computer. But still, Kappa Data gave me a chance. And the first question that Patrick asked me was, why sales? It's completely different. And I was like, no, it's the same. As a social worker, you listen to people, you try to give them a solution, and you try to help them. So that's the same as sales.
When the company kept on growing, we got, of course, some requests for sponsoring. And our vision there is that we don't sponsor the usual things. So you will never see us sponsoring a football team or a basketball team because there are sponsors enough to do so. So also there, we would like to focus on talent that doesn't get sponsoring as such. At the moment, we have two things that we sponsor. The first is a korfbal team. That's a bit strange to say so because I don't know the translation in English. So I hope it's korfbal or korfbal. The second one that we sponsor is actually a very nice one. It's the son of Melanie, Jente.
3 years ago, Patrick asked me what my son, Jente, who's 21 now, he's a promising decathlete. Maybe he's on his way to the Olympics. We don't know yet. We will see next year. He asked me, does he have some sponsors or does he have to buy everything himself? I said, yeah, most of the things we don't get from the federation. So we had to buy spikes, poles, discuses, all kind of stuff. And he was like, really? So we decided to give him a sponsorship for 3 years now. So he can work his way to maybe to the Olympics next year. So, and I'm very grateful that he does that. That's not only the business he's involved in, but also in things like that for sponsorship for young athletes. So I'm really thankful for that.
2012 started with a major exercise with myself. After all this time working on my own, I looked at my strengths. I have some strengths, believe it or not. But I also have a lot of weaknesses. And to solve these weaknesses, I believed it was time to look for an associate. So I looked at the market and then I met some people. And one of the people I met was Chris.
Yeah, so me and Patrick, we know each other already for quite some time. We started to know each other in 2002 when I was the country manager for Benelux for NetAsk, which was a firewall vendor, which is still in the portfolio today of Kappa Data and is now known as StormShield. So from 2002 to 2004, we get to know each other as a partner, but also as a customer and a supplier. Then I went to France for 8 years, came back from France, started my own little management company as a consultant. And yeah, Patrick was the first one who told me, well, why don't you have a mission at Kappa Data, which I did. And like 6 or 7 months later, yeah, we thought it was a good time to start together. And that's also at that time when I put myself into the capital of Kappa Data, and we started Kappa Data version 3.0 together. One of the first decisions that we made was to make sure that Kappa Data went international, because as a small Belgian distributor, we were really vulnerable. So we got an opportunity from Barracuda, who asked us to open a subsidiary in the Netherlands by distributing their brand. And that's what we did together with Carola, who was the first person who started the Netherlands. And together with Carola came another opportunity also for the Belgian part, isn't it?
Yeah, from the same distributor, we got hold of Paul. And at that time, that was perfect because we had a vacancy for the north part of Belgium as an account manager.
Kappa Data used to be a competitor of mine because I was working with a competitive distributor. And then I met Patrick, and he was, I think, interested in having me in his team. So it took a while. I was hard to get. It took a while before I said, "Okay, let's talk and see what your proposal is and what you if we can work together." And seeing what he had as a vision, and afterwards also Chris came with those meetings. I was very interested.
In order to make sure that internationally we could grow, we made a decision to get rid of the villa and to put something else in place. Naturally, we needed some space to continue our activities. So we went in the offices of another reseller where we also met Frederik, which afterwards, by the hand of Patrick, as always when it comes to persons, he made sure that Frederik came along to Kappa Data afterwards.
Well, I already knew Kappa Data because we were a customer at that time. But during that time, I knew that someone was leaving the company that did more or less the job I was doing over there. And I wanted to go away from CNC at that moment. I was very, how shall I say it, calm and saying to Kurt, are you able to manage without the guy leaving the company? So I was building up to he saying no, but he didn't catch it. So a bit later again, I was more clear. It was months later. Well, Kurt, how are you doing? Can you manage? Because if not, I might be interested. And he said, well, I can do it myself. And it was like almost a year later that I saw him somewhere else. And he said, are you still thinking about coming to us? And I said, yeah.
2019 was an important year in the evolution of Kappa Data. And for two reasons. The first reason is that we expanded our team in the Netherlands. So we recruited Rubin Zwanenberg with a very nice experience and evolution path with some other distries that joined our team and really started for acceleration of our business in the Netherlands.
Kappa Data offered me the opportunity to build up a new career after 20 years of sales only. So I'm very glad with the opportunity. I'd like to build a team and my own career where I can look back after 10 years with, okay, this is where we started. And in 10 years, everything has been grown by 10 times.
And the second one, I leave to Chris.
Yeah, that was Dirk Siepedo, who is really well known in the market because he has quite some age and a lot of experience, and he likes to talk. So Dirk came over along with for us with Ozus, the acquisition of Ozus. Well, in fact, the distribution activities for Ozus.
Of course, I knew Patrick for more than 20 years. And after the training, I said, maybe you've heard, but I will be responsible for the software distribution in the near future. And what are your plans? Are you going to stay here or are you going to make a switch towards Kappa Data? I couldn't give an immediate answer because I started from scratch the software distribution at Ozus, and 3.5 years later it became a success, and at the moment it was a success. Then there was Kappa Data to take over the business. In fact, I slept a night about it, and then I saw Chris and Patrick, and you know how it goes. They make me an offer I can't refuse.
In control.
Hardworking.
Authoritative.
Sales vision.
Rational.
Stressy.
Captain.
Straight to the point.
Sportive.
Our top sales guy.
Excel. Just the boss.
Direct. A figure guy.
Driven.
Special.
Innovative.
Gentle.
Body pumping.
Businessman.
Numbers.
His reactions.
His temper.
Club Brugge.
When he gets angry.
Spontaneous comments.
There's nothing funny about Patrick.
Everything.
He thinking he's unpredictable. Self-humor.
His mood swings.
His attitude.
His temper.
The football clubs he supports.
Yeah, I have something in my mind, but I don't think I can share it.
No comment.
His favorite football club.
His love.
It's been an interesting journey. So almost 2 years right now that Exer joined forces with Kappa Data. And before that, it had been 15 years since I had bought Exer. And in those 15 years, we've changed big times. And frankly speaking, I reached a point where I felt that there needed to be something else outside France. We're in a business where size does not matter, but synergies matter, but international exposure matter for our vendors, for our customers. The very beginning, very first meetings, it was obvious that we had some very similar DNA, very similar ethics on the business, very similar definition of added value. And the company, the fact that this year Kappa Data is celebrating its 25 years of history. Exer, by the way, is also celebrating its 25 year in the cybersecurity business. So a lot of, common things in the history of two companies.
In Belgium, we were able to put a brand into the market. Kappa Data is well known. We're going to try to do the same now in the different type of countries in which we are developing ourselves today, by putting the brand into the market, but also to be able to perhaps do some more acquisitions and to get, let's say, a bigger footprint in the different countries.
It doesn't mean, however, that we will not keep on developing in Belgium as well. Also in Belgium, we have room to grow in certain verticals, in some areas. So also our story in Belgium is definitely not finished yet.
Yeah. And what we are trying to do right now is to make sure that we, as a value-added distributor, we try to develop other kinds of services than the ones that we had before, which is typically like training, formation, technical knowledge, etc. But we want to go beyond that in order to develop other services than the one that we have today or traditionally in the market. Things like Expert Techno is a business unit which was active in France and which is able to build your OEM appliances for our resellers and to also do big deployments, for example, for resellers. That's an extra service we want to have.
Regarding product portfolio, I don't believe or don't expect from us that we will offer a multiplier of products we have today. I don't expect, certainly not in Belgium, that the portfolio will be a lot bigger. It's more going in depth, being more important for the existing vendors is our main goal. That doesn't mean, of course, that if there are opportunities to add one or two good brands, surely we will not hesitate. But in general, I think the portfolio will stay pretty stable in the next coming future.
Great.
And then maybe a little word on our Business Central evolution. So as you all know, and I'm smiling to our resellers because they will have felt the pain of us putting a new ERP system in the air. So we had some struggles doing that for sure. However, that the implementation of the system was pretty well done. But the most important thing there is the future. For us, this is the system of the future, where we will offer an open system, meaning that we will connect our system with the systems of our resellers by using EDI, by using APIs, whatever possibilities. It is open, and we will start implementing these kind of services ASAP.
Welcome to the connected world.
Can go unlimited.
That we will grow, but the atmosphere will remain the same. Another 25 years.
Lots of opportunities.
Strong growth. Greatness.
Go and grow.
I think it will continue to grow as it has always done.
Bright future.
Well, I hope that we'll become part of a very big European group.
Kappa Data will be a value-added distributor, not only in Belgium, but the surrounding countries as well.
Further expansion and internationalization, and I hope we start with Italy because I prefer pasta and pizza.
I think the future is looking very bright, so the sky is the limit.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
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 Yes, I do.
Yes.
Of course, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I hope so.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.